Welcome to Volk and Cannon's second episode. This episode is sponsored by.
Your mum.
Right, right, we're back. Okay, we're ready. Shots fired. Shots fired. Classroom.
No, dude, no. She put £20 in my bank account.
Oh, she did, didn't she? This is sponsored.
She did.
This is sponsored by Mum.
So,
But yeah, there we go. Just like any other,
There you go.
any other crappy London band. You must have been to so many crap bands, Mike.
oh, dude, yeah, like just endless shit. But not so much in London. The stuff I used to go and watch in London was usually all right. It was the stuff, sort of, the local stuff where I lived. And I'm not disparaging anyone because there were some great bands down here, but I've seen some terrible stuff. Absolutely awful.
It sounds like you've been to Vietnam, mate.
Yeah, might as well have been. Margate, Vietnam, not too much difference.
Okay, all right. So, guys, we are going to discuss about one of the most important factors of cinema. I can feel Cannon's hairs getting goosebumps of how much he wants.
I just want to ask one thing. As we're talking about cinema, are you wearing your beret?
I'm wearing a turtleneck and a beret.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, may I just ask that Cannon is not the most. How can I say? He hates hipsters, and yeah,
It's basically because I'm not cool. So therefore, anyone that is, I immediately dislike.
But as you can look at our logo, we look the same person with different colours.
Do you know the weirdest thing is though? Our hairline matches up perfectly.
It looks like the same person.
It's because we cut each other's hair.
If me and you had a kid, it would be that.
That's biologically impossible. You idiot. Where does it go? Anyway, we're going off track.
Okay, all right. We're going to talk about the first topic of today, guys, and it's very important. Underrated films. Cannon, the floor is yours.
Okay, should we go one each? I'll go with my first pick.
Yes.
So my first pick is Take Shelter. 2011 movie, Michael Shannon. The one where the guy goes mad. Well, he doesn't go mad, does he? He keeps having the dreams about the world ending, and he gets obsessed with building a bunker.
It's a very like a type of Noah's Ark type of thing, isn't it? If you can imagine that.
Well,
concept.
if you took away basically every single other component of Noah's Ark, as in like God telling, although does God tell him that? No, he doesn't tell him in that film, does he? He just has the dreams.
But he
I don't remember him, I don't remember him putting two of every animal in that little shelter.
Yeah.
That'd get cramped.
Oh God, it must smell like shit in that ark.
It would be like a really bad Pets at Home.
Do you reckon what was it? The RSPCA would be knocking on Noah's Ark, mate?
Excuse me, mate. Have you got a permit for those anacondas? No, it's just like fuck off.
Well, no, do you understand the concept of what I'm saying? Though it's like no one.
Don't patronise me. How dare you?
How dare
Who do you think you are?
Well, I'll tell you.
But seriously,
Okay.
go on.
All right. Well,
Go on. I'll let you be Mr. Beret wearing turtleneck. Have you got a pipe?
I don't have a pipe.
Oh, you've let me down.
I don't have a pipe.
I'll get you a pipe. I'll send you one in the
I'm
post.
drinking cognac instead.
Oh my god, you're such a dickhead. All right, go on. Explain to stupid Mike, Mr. Film Man.
Do you not think that in Noah's Ark, that I'm thinking about the movie, by the way, not the.
Oh, the Russell Crowe one.
Yeah, that no one believed him, no one wanted to get on it, and then eventually it all kicked off.
It did.
It did kick off.
And then, because Ray Winston's the baddie, isn't he?
Oh, Ray Winston is always the.
Mate, I bet just before it was going to rain and like, you know, people are like, is the world going to end? I bet it was like, I'm going to get on bet 365. 20 to 1 odds, it's going to rain. It's going to rain. Quick, put your money down. The world's biggest betting thing. 365, it's just an observation that Ray Winston is on that advert.
Okay, all right. So you believe that the most underrated movie is.
Not the most, it's just one, yeah, Take Shelter. I think it's like a really good film. And I know a lot of people that have watched it, and I think it's one of those films where you expect it to be like a sort of the day after tomorrow sort of thing, or whatever, where there's just like, you know, stuff like 2012, where stuff's kicking off all the time, and you know they're just bombarded with disaster. Whereas this is a bit more slower paced, it's more psychological. But I really enjoyed it. I think it's great. I've watched it a couple of times. I think it's great.
Okay. Take Shelter. Cannon's underrated films selection.
Cool.
My one is I think we both can agree on this one is Christian Bale's Equilibrium.
I disagree.
And that's the end of the segment. We're gonna part ways.
We will never talk again.
We'll be like the Beatles.
Yes, the thing is, you're Ringo. I've not seen that film for again like a long time. It's the one with the gun catter, isn't it? Where he.
Yeah, that's a real thing, isn't it?
Is it? Did you imagine that?
No,
I don't think it is. Is it? It sounds like something that they do in North Korea.
I don't know. I swear it's a real thing.
Really?
I'm gonna have to Google this. 1 second. I'm gonna have to Google it. It has to be done.
Gun catter.
Gun catter.
Are you sure it's not just a thing that people have started doing since that film?
Oh, it's like cosplay. Isn't
Like
it?
since The Matrix, that little period after the first Matrix film came out, where everyone started walking around in long leather coats and leather jackets, and they thought they looked really badass.
Okay, so it's not gun cutter anymore. It's gun fu. Okay, so we'll end that. But it is a great movie.
Okay.
It is a fantastic movie, though. Don't you think? Like, do you not remember? Obviously.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So they have to take a tablet, don't they, every day to like stop their emotions.
I'd stop you there, Mike. It's an
sorry.
injection.
And inject. It's a lot. Dude, I haven't seen this film for literally 20 years.
Obviously, spoiler alert, everybody. Sean Bean dies.
Ruined it.
He fucking dies like in every fucking movie.
What's that film where he gets pulled apart by horses? The plague one.
Black Death.
Black Death.
Oh, yeah.
And they rip him apart with horses. That's great.
God, that guy
But nothing beats the death of Boromir, though. Briggs actually makes me
yeah.
legitimately emotional.
Well, we're going to talk about my favourite underrated film, so let's just go back to me, Mike, okay? The floor is mine.
Okay, so Equilibrium. Yeah, Equilibrium, sorry.
But you do not think that it's a very interesting aspect of it. It's like, it's very like, would you say it's dystopia?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like...
But it's like a functional dystopia.
Yeah.
Where everyone has their place. I think it's very similar to Aldous Huxley, A Brave New World. It's sort of a similar kind of context to that, concept to that. I'm pretty sure, but except for with I can't say it. Gun fu.
Yeah. Why did they change it from gun carter to gun fu? Why?
I think gun cutter sounds better.
It just sounds like it's something that's always been around. Gun fu just sounds like kung fu.
It does. It's totally rubbish.
All right.
All right. Do you want my next underrated film?
Yes.
Okay, so my next underrated film is The Empire Strikes Back.
What's this?
What? Oh god! Oh, fuck. What? You've never seen The Empire? Oh, you see? Shut up.
I've got the T-shirt, but I haven't never seen the film. I'm one of those.
Oh, you're one of those people that wears Nirvana t-shirts and never listened to Nirvana.
Yeah,
Obviously, I was joking, even though you didn't laugh at my joke, which in retrospect wasn't particularly funny at all. But I've put here Predator 2.
Is that the one with the actor? What was it? We can get into oil for this shit.
Yeah, Murtaugh, Danny Glover. Yeah,
him.
And I think obviously I think the problem is obviously Predator is a classic. It's one of the best action movies ever made. But Predator 2 is still a decent film. It's not as good as the first film, but it's different. But it's still really good.
It is really good because I guess like we're gonna get pretentious here. It's like the first one was based in the jungle, and then the second was based in the city, a concrete
in an urban jungle. The mean streets.
But I do remember in the first one when that guy was like cut the blade against him, innit? And he was like, yeah, I'm going to take him on. And he just didn't survive for like a second.
Yeah, it's like a total waste of time. He could have done anything. But it's a great film. Like Predator is a classic, but I think Predator 2 is actually underrated. I think a lot of people just either start watch it or skip it or whatever. It's one of those films that always used to be on Channel 5 back in the day at like 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
Do you know
Aliens, Terminator 2, Predator 2, quite a lot of Van Damme films. Demolition Man, Channel 5, 9 o'clock Saturdays.
And it's funny that you say Van Damme because is the floor mine?
The floor is yours.
Okay. My second underrated film is JCVD by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
That is a great film.
And people have actually, I am not joking, people have said that that is one of his greatest movies ever, and he could have actually got people have said if it wasn't because he was Van Damme, he could have actually been nominated.
So my thing with that film is, and again, spoilers, I'm going to say something here, so you've never seen this film, there's one thing that happens, should I say? You know what I'm going to talk about, don't you?
The monologues.
The fourth wall bit. Yeah, the fourth wall. We'll just call it the fourth wall bit. Yeah, we'll just say the fourth wall bit. And it is like, I would tell you that the acting in that is incredible. It's just what he does, the way he like emotes is incredible. But I think the rest of the film is okay. I don't think the rest of the films. I think that elevates that film, that one scene, because you're just like, well, I did not see this coming. This is amazing. But I don't think the rest of the film. It's not like the rest of the film is not as good as Bloodsport or Lionheart.
Oh god, but I don't think that film is him acting. It's like a confession, like when you write a letter of confession, don't you think? Like that scene is him not.
We should have just written a letter to his MP then.
They don't have MPs in France, you know that, or in Belgium.
It's Belgium.
Well, you know he's speaking Belgianese, isn't he?
Yes, was it Frankish? I can't remember now.
It's Flemish and Dutch.
It's Dutch and French, and then some Flemish is another little bit in the between or something like that. Anyway, I don't care. Yeah, right. And I'll give you that. It is an underrated film. Like I think because it's that point in his career where most people have given up on Jean-Claude Van Damme anyway. Yeah. Like actual like people that would watch his movies. Sure. All right. So my third pick, my last one is Signs.
Oh, that is a freaky deaky movie, bro.
It is. I used to have this thing about, so when I was a little kid, we lived out in the middle of the countryside. I mean, the middle of it was. I know you've grown up your whole life in London, but imagine just like 4 fields off a road. Yeah, so 4 big fields in, then a little road, and there's 4 houses. That's it. That's where we used to live. And because my parents was poor or whatever, I don't know. They in my bedroom, I had a big window that looked out like into the fields and the night sky, and I didn't have any curtains. No curtains or anything, and I just lay there at night, like looking out the window. And one time, I watched this program called it was like Strange or True, and from that day on, I became terrified of being abducted by aliens. Like in real life, I'm not really scared of many. I'm one of those people that like I'm not scared of spiders, but if you threw a tarantula on me, I'd scream like that guy in Home Alone. But
yeah,
like. Ah! But I am still to this day just really terrified of being abducted by aliens. Like when I drive home from work and stuff like that. When I drive home from work, I drive down these like country lanes, sometimes at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not worried about like crashing. I'm worried about like getting abducted by aliens. Like I'm actually legitimately scared of it.
Wasn't there like a really famous alien movie where this geezer gets adopted?
Oh, Fire in the Sky. Yeah, that's Fire in the Sky. Like, yeah, I can't. And it's true. Well,
do you believe?
I mean, I believe there could be other life in the universe. I've seen. Don't take the piss. I promise you won't take the piss.
Oh, I won't promise shit, man.
I'm not taking any promise you give me. I saw an alien. I did say an alien. I saw a UFO driving home from football once. Driving home from Margate Super League 6-a-side, I saw a UFO.
We're going back to episode 1 with conspiracy theories.
Oh, just really quickly, actually, for anyone that listened to episode 1, we were talking about that picture of Bill. Is it Bill Murray or is it Tom Hanks?
Bill Murray, yeah.
I actually legitimately wasted 20 minutes of my day today looking at that picture. The weird thing is, straight away I was like, it's Bill Murray. But then the more I looked at it, it became Tom Hanks.
Well,
So yeah.
To me, it's there's always a saying is, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Is that what your uncle told you?
No, that's what I did when I faked my own death. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll go into stories in a bit in the second maybe segment of that.
Okay, cool. What's yours? Yeah, so Signs. Yeah, good. I just think it's a great film. Real good suspense. Some really dodgy CGI though. If you go back and watch it now, like the alien looks shit.
Yeah, do you know what? There's one scene in that movie that gets me all the time, and it's when it's the telly.
Puts the knife under the door. I thought it was when he puts the knife under the door, and you just see a flash of the alien.
But that's just Mel Gibson just doing a normal Friday night roast or something, and it's just like.
Well, Mel Gibson, he doesn't go into a room until he put a knife on the door to have a look first.
It's Mel Gibson, mate. He's anything. I love. Oh, that guy's amazing. That guy's so weird. Like,
Such a maniac.
I like him because he's just insane. I think. I don't know. I've never met him.
I think what happened was he got so famous and so powerful and probably snorted so much cocaine that he got to that point that a lot of those actors do where they just become like untouchable, and
Like
then
Charlie
they have a little
Sheen.
fall. Oh, yeah, but then they have a little fall from grace, and then they come back again, and they've kind
He
of
did,
adjusted.
he
They've
didn't really
adjusted.
have
I feel like Mel Gibson's adjusted himself a little bit.
I didn't really think he had a grace. I mean, he did send that awful voicemail, and then it was like broadcasted everywhere.
That is so bad.
It was
But my
awful.
point is, well, there's this fall from grace, and then like no one will employ him. Then he kind of went on the quiet, directed a few films, and then he's come back again, and he's like, okay, I've chilled now. I think that's like a kind of I imagine you could build a graph with a lot of actors, and they'd all sort of peak and trough at the same point
Yeah,
on that
but
graph. If
he
you did
has
that.
directed some sick movies, though.
Oh, dude, yeah, Apocalypto, great film.
That is so. So that is like right up your alley because you're like you love all that ancient. That my history goes towards what my history starts towards World War I and then goes
Yeah.
and then it starts from there. Your one's always like Roman Empire and you're always like Anzacs and all that. I'm like, right, mate.
Yeah, but dude, it's a beautiful film, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
like a
Oh, it's
beautiful
so-
film.
it's a
Like how
sick movie.
the cinematography is awesome.
All right. Well, we'll go with my last and final film, and it's Gattaca.
Okay, I'm gonna have to admit something to you now. Never seen it. I know who's in it. It's Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And Jude Law.
Yes, it is. And oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Explain to me what's it about?
Imagine 1950s top hat, like hats, what it was like back then, and old school cars. But then it then goes into like the technology is more advanced than us. So it's set in that world.
Oh, is it like Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow?
Yeah, but in that society, in that world, they artificially create children. So, if, for instance, you and your missus wanted to have a kid, you can get all the defects away from it. So, hair loss, wearing glasses, you know.
Okay, it's designer kids,
Design is
designer
based
children.
on yourself.
Okay.
But there's this one character who is Ethan Hawke, and he's called a godchild, where the parents decided to just let nature take its course, and obviously why he was born, and he's got a heart defect, and so no one employs him, and he wants to be an astronaut.
Ah,
And so
okay, okay.
but he then goes into this whole underground society, and then he ends up Jude Law in that film. He is a scientifically created child, but he was in an accident and he became a what's the word when you can't move your legs from the waist down?
Paraplegic.
That's the word, thank you. And so, but he didn't want to tell anyone, so Ethan Hawke ended up pretending to be him just so that no one knows that Jude Law's character is a paraplegic, but he's using his DNA, his blood and everything to get through to all these things. It's really
Okay, cool.
It's
Okay.
awesome
That sounds
movie.
good.
It's so underrated, and anyone's listening, I would recommend it. It's called Gattaca. So,
Okay, cool.
all
So
right,
nice bunch of, especially like if anybody out who's watching listening hasn't seen any of those films, I will actually go, I will watch Gattaca, and I'll report back to you on what I thought of it.
You've been saying that for the past 10 years, but anyway. All right. All right. We got 5 minutes before we start a break, so what can we talk about next until we do
Okay, I've got one. I've got something. What's the worst film you've ever seen?
the worst film I've ever seen? Oh, good.
Worst film you've ever seen?
Alright, the worst film I've ever seen is that movie that George Lucas direct. I'm gonna type it down. Sorry, I think it's called Red Arrows.
Oh, is it the one about the fighter pilots in World War Two?
Yeah, I had to walk out the cinema with that. What's it?
Really?
I'm typing in, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, you're gonna hear some typing. Red Arrow.
It's got Bryan Cranston in it. What's so bad about it? I know what film you're talking about. I know what film you're talking about.
Red Arrows?
It's red something. It's like red kites, or I think is it red kites? They're fighter pilots in World War Two. It's like a squadron of black fighter pilots in World War Two.
Yeah, I need to find the name. I have to find the name. I'm sorry, because everyone needs to know. So, oh god, it's literally Red Tails. There we go.
Red Tails. That's it. Yeah.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen, and it really reason why I don't like it, because the story is so sick. It's upsetting because, like, you see, obviously in World War Two, you got these obviously like these African American guys. They're fighter pilots. They go do their own thing, and the movie sound was shit, quality was shit, the script was shit. It had one of the it had a thing in it, that actor's name that won an Academy Award.
Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah, he had him in it. You had the whole sick cast. How do you fuck? You had Michael B. Jordan, everyone in it. It even had Brian bloody The guy from Breaking Bad. He had
Bryan Cranston, yeah.
yeah, he had
Okay.
everyone.
Just because it's got a good cast doesn't mean it's going to be a good film. If it's,
But no,
you
but
could list off.
you would think like, oh, I better not fuck this up, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this film is wank. It's such a good story. The graphics, everything was just so crap about it. It was like they didn't even bother. Like like in Pearl Harbor, directed by
Yes.
Michael Bay. That was real fighter pilots. Those were actual real Spitfires and Messerschmitts and stuff. And you remember those scenes, right?
Well, they wouldn't have been Messerschmitts because it was the Japanese, so they didn't have Messerschmitts. But carry on. Shots fired. I've just Pearl Harbored your knowledge.
You know what you just did? This isn't a game of checkers, it's a game of chess.
All right, can I tell you my film now? Because you've
Okay.
just literally waffled along about yours for like 20 minutes.
Okay.
So the worst film I've ever seen is a film that I found. I found it on Amazon Prime. I don't know if it's still on there because I found it on Amazon quite a long time ago. But it's called The Essex Space Bin.
I have to Google this.
I'll read you. I'll read you the quick synopsis. Lorraine believes there's a lost portal to another world in Essex, in a bin. So number one, this film.
You're chatting shit, mate.
I'm not chatting shit. Absolutely not. I've got it here. It's on IMDb. Essex Space Bin, 79 minutes, comedy sci-fi, 2016. It's about a woman, and it's the worst acting I've ever seen. It's the worst like videography I've ever seen. You will literally, you watching this now, because obviously it's what you do for a living. You watching this now. If you watch it, you'll have a brain aneurysm. Your head will literally explode. It makes no sense. It has the worst special effects I've ever seen. Do you remember that cartoon that used to be on? You probably won't remember this. It was called was it Reboot? Where it's like the first computer animated cartoon. It's worse than that, and it's set in Essex. Not that I've got anything against Essex. I quite like Essex. It's all right. I defy anyone to sit through that whole movie. It's called Essex Space Bin.
Essex Space Bin. Okay. Do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We all need to watch this. I need to watch this. There are so many shit short films. I've seen so many.
It's so bad, dude. No, you've never seen anything like this.
Have
Trust me.
Snuff film. Would you consider them as shit? Or would you consider them just fucked up?
I don't know. I don't know what the standard. Show me the best snuff movie, and then I'll judge the rest of them.
Have you never seen a snuff movie?
What, a real one?
What was that one? That famous one? Before we go on a break, ladies and gentlemen, I just need to find this one. It was a real famous snuff. What was it?
So we're talking a real snuff movie, not like that 8mm film.
Oh, that's a
The
really
one
good one. That's another.
It's a great film.
That's
Yeah,
when Nicolas
yeah,
Cage
definitely.
ends up becoming a snuff movie, isn't it?
Yes, that's a great film. But yeah, so you're talking an actual real snuff. What's the difference between a snuff movie and just watching somebody
that's
get
just
killed?
something out of Live Link, or you go on bestgore.com or some shit.
Yeah, but I thought snuff movies were literally you are watching somebody get killed. Like it's a film. Yeah, back in the day, real snuff movies were people getting killed.
Well,
That was the whole like darkness about them before the internet. Not that I ever watched any.
Was that what it was? Because I thought snuff movies was like really like out there kind of movies. Like it was just too much.
No, dude, snuff movies are literally film movies where people really die.
No. I
Yeah.
think this is a generation thing because obviously.
Dude, no, it's not. Yeah, well, obviously someone's wrong. Oh, fine. Fine. I'll Google it as well. Very quickly.
Do you know what, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to take a break right now and let Mike simmer down.
Right, sorry. Just wait before we go anywhere. Snuff film. Definition: a snuff film or snuff movie is a movie in a purported genre of movies in which a person is actually murdered or commits suicide. It may or may not be made for financial gain, but is supposedly circulated amongst the jaded for the purpose of entertainment. And now we can go on a break.
Alright, we're back with part 2 towards episode 2, and we've discovered that Mike, I like splatter films, and it's not snuff films.
No, it's not. And I just want to say, you say we discovered, but I already knew that. So
Yeah, and someone that has a master of the arts of.
you have a master's in film, and you don't even know what snuff film is. All right, cool. Well, look,
Okay.
we've come to. At least now you know. Now you know. I've taught you something today.
But it's like
good.
slasher movies, isn't it? But anyway, was it Scream? And I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Scooby Doo, the movie.
we're gonna move on to this next segment now. I feel like we should maybe talk about ourselves a bit more, so everyone, the audience, knows about us. So, where should we start? Should we start with our age differences? Is quite like, Mike, you're like 10 years older than me, right?
Right. How old are you? I don't even know how old you are. You're 30, right?
30 years old, correct.
You're 30, right? So I'm 9 years older than you.
So I was close. So what do I win? All right. So I think our stories and our experiences in clubs, because you've never been to a rave, have you?
No, I've been like an old man since I was a kid. So I used to go to nightclubs. I'll be honest, I haven't been to a nightclub properly since I was about 25.
What's the nightclub in Canterbury?
There's one called Chemistry.
Chemistry.
It's called Club Chemistry. I went there when I was like 17, walking back home. There's like a city wall in Canterbury, like a big, it's like a medieval wall. You go over a bridge. I was walking back, some skinhead just punched me in the face for no reason and ran off. And I had to walk into...
Is that...
Dude, honestly, just for no reason. I was walking back to the bus stop on my own. I left because I just got bored. I was like, I'm going home. And I literally walked... As I was
bored in chemistry?
When you're like the only one who's not off your face on MDMA, it gets boring pretty quick. So anyway, this guy, he just walked past me, just punched me straight in the face, massively split my lip open, and I ran. Instead of running and getting on a bus, I ran to McDonald's because I lost blood, so I got hungry. I just went into McDonald's just pissing blood and was like, "Can I have a Big Mac, please?" They were like, "Fucking hell."
That reminds me of a time where New Year's Eve, me and a friend and a person I knew lived in Brighton, and we were like, it's obviously I wanted to pick up, aka wanted to do drugs, and the person that lived there was like, no, I've deleted all the numbers, and I was like, no, I can definitely pick up quicker than you can get milk. And we went outside, and the first person I asked was a magician. He had a cape. I swear to God, he had a cape. He had the cannon. What's the stick thing with the black and a wand? Whatever he had. It looked like he was a cosplay dresser for Harry Potter. I don't fucking know. For some reason, I just went up to him and I said, it's my East London thing. I was like, "Hey, bro, have you got any? You got any stuff for me?" He went, "What do you want?" And I told him what I wanted, and he literally did the coin behind the ear thing.
Fuck off! No, he did not. Did he?
He did.
He is a magician drug dealer.
When the other
best kids parties ever.
And then when he came back, and when the other person came back that I knew, he was like, "Jesus Christ, you really have."
So you scored drugs quicker than somebody could go and get a pint of milk.
It's an underground thing. You just know when you win the circle, you win the circle. This is always. I don't do it anymore. I'm fucking 30 years old, mate. I just want to sit down and have a cup of tea.
I know the feeling.
I'm just literally just like, turn it down, mate.
It's pretty mad. It's mad that like. What one of the things I love about just like sort of life in general, just the weird stuff you encounter just without expecting it. Sometimes you're like, let's go out and do something mental or whatever, when you're young, that's fine. But do you want to know one of the weirdest things I've ever experienced is I was in a Starbucks in Kingston upon Thames. To be fair, it's about 15 years ago because I don't do anything exciting anymore in my life, but this was back then when going for a coffee was quite exciting for me. I was with a friend who I shall not name. We were in this Starbucks. Okay, now just imagine you're sat on like the comfy sofa near the window. Opposite us on a table, there's an old lady. Yeah, I don't know, I would say between 60 and 70 somewhere. I couldn't place her exactly. She's at this table. She's got a cup of coffee, or whatever, I don't know what it is, cup of coffee, cup of tea. Sitting like opposite her, but on another table, is this old bloke. Yep. And he sat there with a cup of tea or something. The old woman, an old geezer. The woman, and we're just sitting there chatting. You know how you just sort of notice people around you?
Yeah.
The old woman gets up, goes to the toilet. When she had gone in the toilet, the old man, and I'll be honest, I feel really terrible to this day for not actually saying anything, but I was young and was just like, oh, what's going on? The old man gets up, walks to her cup, pulls a fucking tea bag out of his inside coat pocket and like dips it.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it wasn't the one that he was using. It was like already.
No. This one came out of his coat because obviously as soon as he got up and walked towards her thing, I was like, wait a minute, let's just see what happens here. Pulls his tea bag out, dips it in her tea like 3 times, takes it out, puts it back in his pocket like wet.
Shut the front door, mate. Yeah,
No, but out of his pocket wet, and then just goes and sits down again. And then us being little shitheads that we were just like, let's just watch. And she came out and she drank her coffee. Then she left, and then he left like 3 minutes later. And this is possibly controversial, but the only explanation that we could fathom from what we'd witnessed was that it was some kind of date rape teabagging. But I don't know. I looked at the papers for like things like old lady gets. It's not funny. Like old lady gets attacked or something. But there was never anything, so I don't exactly know what happened.
Oh God, he's just one of those people, isn't it? Oh my God.
I knew it was so weird.
I remember one time there was a I replaced someone at work. It was like a random job, yeah. I'm not going to say the company or anything, but I replaced somebody for a couple of months, and I asked them like what happened, and they said that the last guy got caught sniffing the girl people's chairs.
But everyone sits. If that's a place where you work, not just the
but everyone
women. Like number one, you shouldn't do that. But everyone sits in different chairs, so you could just be sniffing some gross guy's farts.
Oh, I don't know, man. But man,
that's pretty messed up, though.
It's pretty fucking crazy. But what's more crazy is one. I've got a lot of rave stories because obviously I was in the rave scene. Drum and bass and dubstep, all that stuff. And there was the one time where obviously I was what's the word? Should we say intoxicated?
You've already said you scored drugs off a magician. Why the fuck are you worried about saying we're on drugs?
Okay, so I was on drugs. I was partying. And there was one time I was like obviously dancing, and I had my thumbs in my fist, and I was like, punching around, doing my thing.
Were you doing gun kata?
I was going kung fu actually.
Dance floor.
I was doing
gun fu. Doing gun fu in the middle of the dance floor with your face on ecstasy. Cool.
And I thought I lost my thumbs.
You had your thumbs inside you, like tucked away, so you could only see your 4 fingers.
Yeah, and I also used to think. This is how old school this is, yeah, by the way. I had a BlackBerry, a white one.
Oh.
The BB chat. I used to think in my psychological insanity mind that someone has stolen my phone but replaced it with a shit phone. Because in my mind I was like, this isn't my phone. They've clearly changed, because it was obviously a wallpaper of me and my ex, but I was like, it's clearly not my phone. But it was my phone, but it's just the insanity of it.
Yeah, but didn't you have a heart attack? If I just made that up, didn't you have almost have a heart attack?
I had a heart attack once. Yeah, I was only 23. I had a heart attack.
Oh my God!
I had a heart attack once. Yeah, I did too much.
I'm just trying to think of your other rave story. What about the one where it's something to do with a Red Bull and a bloke?
Oh, okay. Alright, this is a good one. So, when you're... for fuck's sake. So, thanks for I'm going to bring up the time when you killed a kid once in the fucking mosh pit. You threw him in the mosh pit. I'm going to bring that up.
just for legal purposes, there's no evidence that this kid died, but we'll get onto that.
That's the next story. You're going to be on that. Okay. I wasn't there. But I've heard stories. So, obviously, I did a thing called candy crushing. So, it's like you do acid and MDMA and then cocaine, and then you take it all together. It's okay.
Fucking hell! How are you still alive? Carry on. Yeah.
And obviously I did that. I was obviously doing my party thing, and then I went to get a Red Bull from my mate, and obviously I used to get free drinks there because I used to go all the time. So I used to be like, "Oh, I'll sort you out, mate. Don't worry." And went there, and this geezer, I'm gonna impersonate him. I don't know if he was an Italian, Spanish, and he was like, "Come, let me buy you a drink. Let me buy you a drink, man. Come on."
Dude, you sound like that. You sound like the thing that owns Anakin Skywalker, the first Star Wars film. Annie!
It might as well have been.
Was it him?
He didn't have any wings. He wasn't flapping around. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Skeezer came down and he was like, let me buy you a drink, come on. And I'm thinking like, usually this is AKA meaning like this guy's obviously, you buy it again, you got to do something. But I'm thinking I'm off my nuts, so I'm like, whatever. So I'm thinking, alright, fine, get me Red Bull, a big one, the big ones, the naughty big cans. I take it, and when fathers and sons, when the father said, alright, if the kid does this, you got to give him a left uppercut and a right kick, and everyone's dad taught their sons how to fight a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, my father never taught me. when this guy told me, he grabbed my arm and he said, "Now suck my dick."
Because you bought him a Red Bull. That's fair. That's a fair swap.
Not a fair swap, because I tried to be polite, and the only thing I could say was, he grabbed my arm and went, "Now suck my dick," and all I could say was, "I beg your pardon." And then I managed to get off his grip. I ran into the rave. Obviously, I had a big crowd with me. And this geezer kicked the door open of where the bar was, and he went, "Where are you? Where are you?" And then the bouncers took him away. And then I was just like, I must have imagined this. And then I looked at my hand, and the Red Bull was there, and I was like, "No, that was real, mate. That actually happened."
Maybe the Red Bull was real, but you imagined the.
Yeah, it's just fucked up though. Like, to think that someone, like, just because you get them a drink, you're entitled to the fact that you got to sleep with them, or force with them. It's fucked up, man.
Yeah, man, that's totally insane.
It's insane. And you can understand with girls, with girls, you buy them a drink. I've bought girls drinks, and I was like, okay, cool, bye. That's it. Never saw them.
Yeah, you never you buy a girl drinks and can I get you a drink? Well, now fuck off. You just fuck off. That's it. But
yeah,
not everyone is as chivalrous as us.
No, I'm not chivalrous. Let's just run away. Okay, but yeah. So we're going to talk about the story when Cannon threw a kid in a mosh pit.
Well, yeah. I mean, you basically just told the story, which is I suppose I can give a bit of context. It was download 2010, and I was watching Rage Against the Machine.
Was it down? That's when I lost my tooth. That's the next story. All right, cool. Your one.
So anyway, basically, we're in the crowd watching Rage Against the Machine. It's all going mental, and I was sort of standing. I wasn't right at the front. I was a little bit back. There was sort of maybe 2 rows of people in front of us, and then it was the kind of swirly mosh pit was the other side of that. Not getting involved in that at that point. It's a little bit too old for the mosh pits, unfortunately. So what happens? People start crowd surfing. Now, at one point, this kid starts coming towards us. I reckon he's about, 13, 14. Looks like it's his first festival or something. He's having a great time until he gets to me. What happened was, it was that perfect thing where when he came to me, his, the small of his back, the top of his back, was in one hand. And then literally his backside was on my other hand. I literally had him perfect wrestler. And this was back in the day when I used to be quite fit and work out and stuff like that. So I was quite strong back then. And he just he didn't move because there was no one else pulling him. So I was like, I wonder if I could throw him over those 2 bunch of people. So I literally squatted down and just hoiked this kid. And as he went over the first set of people and the next one and just disappeared into the mosh pit. The crazy thing is what's that scream that's in every single film?
What's that scream?
There's a scream that's in, if you watch Indiana Jones style, so many films, that's, there's that one little weird scream. He did that.
Did you ever see him again?
He did that scream. No, he just disappeared into it. And then I turned and kind of looked at my friend. I turned to my friend and he just looked at me and went, "I think you just killed that kid." And I ran away.
Oh, confessions on the podcast. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do, isn't it?
I'm sure it's all right though. They probably just broke his legs or something. I'm sure it's okay.
No, but mosh pits though, they're when you fall over, people do pick you up though, don't they? It's very friendly. It's really weirdly violent, but when you fall over, everyone tries to pick you up.
Depends what band you go and watch.
Oh, is that right?
You ever seen Hatebreed?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I've been to download once and I lost a tooth. Do you remember that? I lost a tooth. I've got a fake tooth.
Which one?
My front left tooth. The very front,
Yeah, your main front tooth. What, the top?
The top one, the top left one. The first left is fake. Every time I go to a UV show,
does that one tooth just light up like the sun?
No, it does the opposite. All my teeth light up, but that one tooth doesn't light up. Did you not know this?
No.
Oh, I've got a picture of it. Oh, I'm gonna have to send it. I'm gonna have to send it to you, ladies and gentlemen. You'll see it, all of you lot. But yeah,
That's amazing. So that one tooth doesn't like. So when you smile, you look like
so it looks like
pirate.
I've got a missing tooth. Yeah,
We have technically.
I technically do have a cover. But we have to talk about another thing where obviously you believe in ghosts, you believe in aliens. For some reason, you believe that I'm a curse.
No, right, let's no, okay. Let's just get one thing straight. As far as the word belief is concerned, I have evidence. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, I have only ever sustained like three serious injuries in my life where I've ended up in hospital. One is I broke my ankle. Two is I broke the same ankle again 3 years later, and then another one is my appendix exploded. Now, of these three separate incidents, there is one common factor in each one of them. And what is that common factor, Vulcan?
Mr. Cannon believes that every time I hang out with him, these things happen.
Well, not every time because I'd be dead by now. But like, you don't think it's weird that when I broke my ankle, you were there? Like literally,
Okay.
you were
All right. Let's just
almost in the ambulance with me.
let's go for the first one. The first one was we're meant to be writing, but instead we decided to play football with these road kids in Greenwich Park.
And then there were all those road kids playing football, and we were like, oh, they were like, do you want to play football? And we were like, yeah. So we went and played football with them. I broke my ankle doing that. Nobody actually hit me or anything. I tripped over a hole.
And I have to admit, I've never heard. It sounded like you know when they say if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? It fucking certainly fucking does make a fucking sound because I heard a trunk. I literally looked around thinking a tree has fallen, and I just see my good friend Cannon on the floor, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it was a hole. God, and they gave you they tried to give you Deserrano.
No, yeah, those roadmen ran over, and I won't do the accent, but they were literally just like, here, drink this, and they just gave me a whole bottle of Disaronno.
Oh, those two medics though that came out.
I should have drunk it.
Yeah, those two medics though paramedics that came out. Oof, they were nice, man.
Yeah, they were. I was high as fuck by the time I got in the ambulance.
I was so jealous. I really wanted to grab that gas and be like, oh, I broke my ankle as well. And then so the second time, which is a very stranger time, which is I don't think it's my fault. I was filming, but okay, we'll even put the link of the episode of what happened that day because we can link.
Yeah, because you can literally watch the moment I broke my ankle, which is you don't see anything. Basically, we were filming. We used to do this really like stupid YouTube video game thing called Raging Horse or Danger Zone. And one of the skits was I was going to sabotage by running up behind him with a twig and jumping and smacking him on the head with the twig. So I hit behind a car. So Vulcan's like, action. So I start sprinting. Bear in mind, this is a couple of years after my broken ankle. My ankle's never been the same since. It's a bit dodge. I jump up in the air, almost like doing a long jump, smack him on the head with this twig. But I land really hard on my broken ankle. It exploded. I don't know, I'm laughing because it's so painful.
But the funny thing about this was we carried on filming the episode.
Because I knew I'd broken it because I heard it and I felt it. But we carried on filming the episode. And then do you remember that was the day that Star Wars Battlefront came out for the Xbox One?
And we decided to play it for like 2 hours before we went to the
Yeah, and I was like, no, before we go to hospital, play the demo. I just want to, I've been waiting like years for this game. I've just got to play it for a bit. And it got to a point where I looked down at my ankle and it was like 4 times the size. And I was like, can we go to the hospital now, please?
We went to Whipsquash Hospital.
Oh, mate. And you were there.
Okay,
and then the third one is when my appendix exploded when you were there at my birthday party.
I wasn't there when it exploded. I was there for your birthday when I was dressed.
But you were there when I ate a whole raw potato, and I think that's what did it.
What? Is that what you think that's did it?
Oh, dude, don't you know this? Oh, right, okay. So we've got a friend. We won't mention his name. He's Northern Irish, and I was in the hospital, and obviously they were doing tests on me, and he was like, "Oh, Mike, I just remembered you." I was talking to him. He came to visit me. He was like, "Mike, I remembered you. You ate that potato." He was like, "Look," so basically, you've eaten a potato, and you can get this special kind of poisoning from a potato that like can really fuck you up. So when the doctor came round, and I was actually getting freaked out they were going to operate on me, I was like, "Oh, by the way, doctor, my Irish friend told me that I might have got potato poisoning." And the doctor did that thing where he was like, "Fucking doing my job for me, boy. I'm going to hurt you." He was like, yes, Mr. Cannon. I don't think it's potato. I'm pretty sure it's your appendix. Goodbye." I felt like such a dick. I was like, God damn. No, I could have just told him I ate a raw potato, but I had to tell him that it was an Irishman that told me. Which apparently is actually, I did look it up.
But you blame me for that. I didn't.
Don't eat raw potatoes.
I mean, oh god, I remember one time I ate a ghost chili. That was the worst.
Oh man, I can't do hot foods. I can do raw potatoes, but not hot food.
Spicy food.
Spicy.
But I remember that. But I don't know why you blame me for that, because I didn't tell you to eat that potato.
Yeah, but you're the only factor of all three. You're the only person that's been present at all three things when it started to happen.
I'm not the one that like walked out the room and then a masked bandit came in and went, duh!
Just be honest. Do you have a little tiny doll of me in your house?
Yeah,
do you do spells?
And I just pinned it on the ankle. Do
you get your drug dealer magician to do stuff to me?
Didn't you once want to leave a doll stabbed in one of your old tenant rooms and leave it behind the radiator?
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, we're at the 30, goodness me, 52-minute, wait, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What are you doing?
9, 10. All right, we're at the marker now, actually. So we can end this now.
No. Thank Jesus.
Okay, then. All right, then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to our, what it was literally just rambling. This, by the way, the reason why we started this podcast is because this is how we and Cannon talk. We just thought we'd just record it. This is not scripted. This is how we talk. Even offset, on set, in a Cafe Nero. This is how we talk. I don't know why we haven't been banned from anywhere.
Sometimes I don't even know why we're friends.
Wait. Let's end it with... let's end this podcast with one of the greatest stories ever. The Turkish Mexican restaurant with prostitutes.
Oh, okay. You mean the time that I showed my like country boy naivety and we nearly got killed?
And my naivety of so every time we're gonna set the scene. Every time I go into a Turkish establishment, I always speak Turkish. Okay, that's just something I do. Everyone doesn't.
Oh yeah, you get us kebabs and free chips all the time.
In the next episode, I'm going to tell you guys how to get extra chips, extra drinks, anything. It's a hidden secret. Okay, next episode. Tune into episode 3. Cannon, set the scene.
Okay, so there was a. Can I say where it was and what the name of the place is? I think it's closed now.
Okay, it's an establishment in the Greenwich area.
In the Greenwich area, that was a Mexican establishment. And it was the only place that stayed open in Greenwich that we sort of knew where we were at the time anyway, until like the early hours. The thing is they had a bar upstairs, but because of the law or something, they have to feed you. And then technically it's a restaurant or something, or sell alcohol. I don't know. So anyway, so we're there and they give us free nachos, which is a bonus, and we're getting smashed. And then like there are these kind of gross, sexy women dancing and stuff. There's me, Volk, and another friend of ours. Volkan's just chatting on shit to some Turkish blokes. We have absolutely no idea what he's going on about, so we're just like, fuck it. There's 2 of us. There's 2 of those ladies over there. Let's just go and dance with them. Completely innocently. It was just a case of we were drunk and a bit merry. So we're dancing. We danced away quite happily, and then suddenly, about after I don't know how long ago, maybe 3 to 5 minutes of dancing to a couple. Did the Macarena, did another dance. I don't fucking know. Then Vulcan kind of comes over looking a bit sweaty and frightened. And I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Vulcan's like, we've got to go now. And me and our other friend are like, why, what's up? What's wrong? He's like, you're making them angry. You're dancing with their prostitutes. I had no idea. And then we left. But me and the other friend left. I don't know what happened to you. So basically, these guys, the place got shut down because they found out it was a prostitution and drug dealing den, but also a Mexican restaurant. And it actually got closed. It got raided and closed down, run by Turkish guys. Go figure. But then that's not the end of the story, is it, Vulcan? It's the end of the story for me and our friend, because we went home. What happened? What happened to you after that?
I'm obviously, as you know, I'm quite young. I'm quite younger than Mike. I was, more capable, so I wanted to do an after party. I don't really remember much. I remember driving an Uber. I wasn't an Uber. I'm not an Uber driver. And the next minute I remember is waking up in the corridor of my house, in the place I was staying at, and I had 50 quid missing from my account.
And gonorrhea.
No, I didn't have gonorrhea. And then I just woke up in the place in the hallway of my where I was staying at, and then I had like 50, 80 quid withdrawn from some random ends in New Cross Gate. I don't know, because it's close to where we were studying, and then that was it. It was, and we really didn't even question it afterwards, did we?
No, we did. Look, we kind of talked about it the next day and then didn't talk about it again for about a year. But
Yeah,
there we
but
go. So
I have to
yeah,
admit though, if I had known what it was, I would have gone there more.
yeah, we would have gone there more. And you got free nachos.
Yes, I.
That was the main pull for me. The main pull for me was not anything else. It was free food.
That's I think that's what you love about me, isn't it? When you every time there's a kebab shop and we're on a night out, you always look at me. You're like, "Get me some extra chips, mate. Get me a little."
Right, Vulcan, we got to finish now because I've actually got things to do.
Okay, all right. We're finishing up. All right, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening, guys. It's been another great episode. Just us two absolutely chatting shit. Sorry for wasting your time, and we probably wasted our time.
Apologise.
And again, as always, remember, wash your hands, keep safe.
2 meters apart. That's it. Keep you 2 meters apart.
2 meters apart, and stay safe, guys. And we'll see you on the third episode where we talk about more nonsense, more nonsense, more nonsense, more nonsense.